What up, what up, what up? Back at it again, Real Fans Podcast. We're here. We're in the heart of what we've been waiting for all summer long, okay? I feel like we're now at the culmination. We had the summer doldrums, okay? We had a couple hurricanes fly through Florida, so shout out to people who, there's still there's like a category 5 out there, so there's like a couple of them out there that are roaring.
Really? I haven't paid attention at all.
Dude, oh, well, you need to pay attention because it's getting serious out there.
I'll pay attention.
And the only reason I worry about it is because now we're like the culmination of finally like sports. We're getting kind of into fall. Sports are finally starting. And last night, we're recording this on Friday. Last night we finally had football. We've been waiting for all along. Listen, I don't like preseason.
Football
Julian,
is back.
You like to do all this prediction, who's gonna do what? Like I don't do it. You know what? I want to see it when the season starts. Don't give me no preseason crap, okay? Because the starters only play 2 drives and they sit their ass down. Now we're going to actually get gameplay. And so finally, football's here. Thursday night football. First game of the year. Which, to be honest, heading into this, I thought it was going to be trash. Okay? I thought it was going to be trash. I'm like, the Lions, I'm already predicting Chiefs going to go all the way. They're going to go deep in the playoffs. They're going to run it again. Doesn't matter. But last night we had Thursday night football. And I just kind of want to get your reactions of the game and kind of how you felt. Because, wow, game 1 already. Upset.
See, I was higher in the game than you were because, one, I was really curious to see if Detroit can, kind of recapture that magic that they did in the beginning of the end of last season. And they kind of brought everybody back, the same squad, everybody. So in my mind, I'm like, well, if they can do what they did at the end of last season, and they could be pretty competitive. And then if you look at the Chiefs coming into this season, they lost some weapons on offense, and then obviously Travis Kelce was hurt coming into this game. So I was really curious to see both offenses. Really, I was kind of really interested to see how each one reacts to the situation at hand. And look, I would have thought the Chiefs were going to win it, and I'll start off with the Chiefs. Man, they need receivers bad.
Well, wow,
bad. Really bad. They got names out there I never even heard of before. The only name I knew was Valdez-Scantling. That was because he was on the team last year. Yeah. And if he, that guy's like a number 3 at best, a 3rd wide receiver, maybe 2nd at his top end. Then who else did you have out there, man? I will say the offensive line for the Chiefs has definitely beefed up and got really good because that's a Detroit squad that can kind of go after the quarterback. And I do think Aiden Hutchinson, 2nd year coming into the league, I thought he had a pretty good game, all being that the Chiefs offensive line did perform really well. I think adding Jawan Taylor to that team has really helped solidify. I felt like Patrick Mahomes had all day and massive gaps to go and run, which really saved the Chiefs in a lot of situations. His ability to move on with his legs, that game could have been a lot worse if that wasn't the case. The amount of dropped balls, the amount of just not being able to get open. I do think Pacheco's going to be pretty good, which is it's good to know. If you have a good offensive line and run game, that does help the passing game, that ability to be able to play action. But, man, it is looking super thin, and I think Detroit kind of opened up the playbook of how to beat them and, just be really tight in the secondary, which, that's easier said than done because, secondary is one of the hardest positions, I think, to play in the NFL because especially when you have an offensive line like Kansas City, a wide receiver's best friend or second best friend, let's say, first is being the quarterback, but second being the offensive line to give you time. The more time you have out there to run, the more likely you're going to lose your man and be able to get free and catch a ball. So, I think that does help a little bit, but I think when Kelce comes back, that's gonna be great. And I'm not sure how long he's supposed to be out for, but nonetheless, even if he does come back, you still need those guys out wide. And unless somebody can really step up for that team this year, it's going to be the Chiefs may not feel so dominant. If they keep on this performance, unless they're able to kind of, Andy Reid is able to shift it and really kind of focus on a little bit more on the running game and kind of short game. that could be a possibility. But I'm curious to see. But what do you think of the Chiefs' performance?
Yeah, quick note. They're saying I'm looking at CBS Sports. Are predicting that he'll be available for week 2. So obviously they had to replace him for him. He didn't play this game. So your wide receivers, I think it's weird. I want to just comment on what you thought about what you said about the wide receivers, because last year I feel like the commentary was like, "Yo, it doesn't matter Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter who's out there. You can put a freaking a shopping cart out there with legs, and Patrick Mahomes gonna get the ball to him." Last night I thought the spotlight was Scantling. Scantling was like their deepest threat. Like he was the one going further and getting open for them. He was their bright spot. I like Pacheco was also a bright spot for them. Obviously, I think the name of the game was freaking Tony. I've heard of Tony before. I remember him from last year. He dropped the ball in big spots. I mean,
okay, he was huge coming out of Florida, dude.
Yeah.
He was huge. He was a big pick coming out of Florida. I don't even know if you remember the classic line Urban Meyer said, but he said that he wanted Tony instead of ETN. Which, like, what fucking coach says that? But, like, that's besides the point. I mean, he got drafted to the Giants. He was supposed to be this huge playmaker. He was supposed to be, like, the next DJ Moore, the next, like, Percy Harvin. He was supposed to be this, like, just offensive weapon who can run the ball and, like, play in the slot, play out wide, just has the speed and capability. He had injury problems for the Giants, and now he comes over to the Chiefs late last season during trade deadline. And he still didn't really do anything, had injury issues. Now he's coming into this game. He just looks bad. I think this guy might be pushing the bus.
I don't know.
Bus is getting close, dude.
I was seeing memes.
It's not looking too good.
I was seeing memes. They're saying this guy, Josiah Johnson on Twitter, he's like, yo, they're going to put him in the trade portal. They're going to put him in the transfer portal.
Bro, if you can't do it with Patrick Mahomes, I don't know how any other team gives you a chance. They're like, bro, you can't do this with Patrick Mahomes with him having an offensive line who's giving him time. Bro, I don't know about you, man. Like,
wait, why don't you get you one of those Arizona quarterbacks? If you can't do it with the big guy. I also want to echo what you said earlier also about the Lions. I thought the game was about the front line, like defensive line. I think they on both teams, the Lions and the Chiefs, both did a really good job putting pressure on. Pat Mahomes, obviously, was very slippery. He played excellent with his way to scramble and kind of get out the pocket. He made big, long run plays out of bounds. So he did excellent with that. But I want to also give a shout out to the Lions, because guess what? On that first drive, they were able to, fake punt, convert that fourth down way deep in their thing, and guess what? They converted that to 7 points. So, and I think they also did another. Also at the end of the game, obviously with no timeouts, they went to a run on the clock. They went again for it on fourth down and were able to convert. And I thought that was pretty smart. Like I think that's the obvious play in the league. Like every team, like. If you're fourth and short, go for it. Don't put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands, because he's just going to make magic. So I thought that
bro, in their own 17.
That's ball. You need cocojones.
Show them the shirt, Gabe.
You need cocojones. Okay, you need a big wheelbarrow to carry your balls. Okay, and shout out
for the audio listeners.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Gabe is wearing a cocojones shirt, basically Dolphins themed. And shout out and a bunch of footballs in a wheelbarrow.
Former staffer,
that's attire for today.
The head coach for the Lions, former Dolphin staffer. He was the strength coach for them. So
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
So listen, he took shots, man. That was risky as hell. But you know what? That's the smart play, right? Because it's like, yo, how many chances? Like, a punt is just a turnover. It's just a fancy turnover down the field. So like, you're just putting the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands.
Turnover.
It is. You're just putting the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands, and if you don't, you need all the chances you got. All right, don't leave it in a late game situation where, especially like how Patrick Mahomes played, where he was able to make yardage or scramble and get out of potential sacks and potential down yards. So I don't know. What do you want to comment on?
No, yeah, I was just gonna pretty much we can kind of talk about the Lions side of it, and then kind of go into what do you expect from them from this the rest of the season pretty much. I'll say as for the Lions, last night, they looked good. Look, you don't have any superstars on that team. The closest superstar you probably have is Amaz St. Brown, which I think he's going to be. That guy can just straight up ball. That guy's such a good route runner. He has such great speed, and the dude can jump his ass off. I think he's going to be really good. But Detroit's just a good team. Dan Campbell put together like a really solid team. I really like their offensive game plan. I think their offensive line is playing really well. I'm a big fan of Hutchinson. I know I was just raving about the Chiefs' offensive line, but like when the Lions did get pressure, a lot of it came directly from like related to him. Like the dude, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. And it really makes me upset that the Jags didn't get him over Trayvon Walker. But we'll see. I mean, I've still got faith in Trayvon. Let's see. But nonetheless, no, I think they're going to be like they looked really solid. They looked composed. Jared Goff, man, one of the craziest. Like, I honestly didn't even know if he was going to start this season at the end of last season. But it looks like they're putting all their faith behind him. I mean, to be fair, he hasn't really deserved to lose the job. And you just took down the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, 2 times.
So
2 times.
Yeah. Like this Detroit team might be pretty damn serious, and I like fighting for that division spot in the NFC North. So I guess like bouncing to you is like, do you think they can really? I know we made our predictions last year, last episode, but now we're actually seeing them in the flesh. We're a little skeptic of the Lions, but it seems like they're just kind of going right back to where they were last year.
I mean,
at the end of last year.
This is the difference between me and you. I'm more of like, I'm not gonna watch one game and hyperventilate and be like, okay, they beat the Chiefs, they're going all the way. I still think the Chiefs.
Well, this isn't one game though. They're doing the same. They're doing the same shit they did last year, and they went on an 8-0 run last year.
Yeah, but they didn't make the playoffs. But listen,
well, because of the front, there's a.
The Chiefs got punched in the mouth. They got punched in the mouth. This is an upset loss. I'm sorry. This was like me. I wasn't even interested in watching this game. But
it's an upset, yeah.
Yeah. This is an upset loss. They go on the road. They go on the road into Kansas City and beat you. You mean you struggle against them? I mean, you got punched in the mouth. We'll see what happens with 2. I'm not gonna hyperventilate though off of one game. You know, I'm more of like let me see 4 games and then I can make an opinion about your team and your
bro. It's week 1 overreactions game.
No, bro. I'm not gonna have Friday quarterback. Whatever. What do you call Monday quarterback?
But I mean, I will say, like, I mean, look at the division, man. I mean, we'll see what we're going to get out of the Bears. I think they're going to be pretty interesting. And then who knows what Minnesota's going to be? Minnesota's generally a playoff team. They've been winning the division, but they're not like the strongest team at the same time. So I get what you mean. Like, yeah, I mean, let's let it play it a couple of weeks. But I will say, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they can win this. I mean, the fact that they're continuing to do the same thing is awesome. And I like the 1-2 punch they have with Montgomery and the rookie Gibbs. That rookie Gibbs got some really good speed out on the edge. And then you got obviously Montgomery who can just run it right down the middle. Like, they're going to be a really solid team. And, you know, this Josh Reynolds guy, I mean, dude's got 4 catches, 80 yards. I mean, that maybe he can really turn on something for them and kind of be that opposite to Amon St. Brown. Like, we'll see. But I think we're going to see more of Amon St. Brown. I think this dude's he kind of made a name for himself last year, but I think he's going to be like elevated. And Jared Goff, as long as he's got the protection, the dude is. I just like the scheme. The scheme that they're putting together is just really nice. I don't know who the offense coordinator is over there, but Dan Campbell's he's doing something right. He's finally turning that goddamn franchise around.
Eating one kneecap at a time. To answer your question,
the unlikely hero.
To answer your question, what do I think about the Lions going forward? Like I think we discussed, like, we have the Vikings as the favorites, like, but I'm more like a wait to see. I have the Bears being sneaky good, so that's a team I want to watch. So before I like make a determination on this division, like, I just want to wait to see. Let me see how the Bears look coming out these next couple weeks, and we'll see what happens. Like, people, that was kind of the love story. They got on Hard Knocks, and that was kind of the love story. People were rooting for the Lions. I think this is a great win. It's a great start to the season. So, I mean, we'll see week to week. I don't know their entire schedule, but I want to see what the Bears do first before I make a determination. Like, oh, the Lions are going to be competing for the NFC.
Well, my one thing with the Bears is there's still got to be a lot of cohesion that has to go on there. I mean, you're bringing in a lot of new players, and it's going to take time for them to adjust. I think what the Lions have to their advantage is that these are essentially the same players that are coming back, same system, everything. Like, they're kind of just running it back, and they prove that they can win and beat good teams in this. So, yeah, I know how you feel. You want to wait and see the Bears, but I don't expect the Bears to be great. I don't know if they're going to be pushing the division like the Minnesota Vikings and the Lions will. I think they're going to be a solid, maybe like be in the hunt towards the end of the season. But let's talk about the rest of the games. Let's go over week 1 and the most.
Oh, because I'm about to say, listen.
Segment.
Okay, I'm about to say because next week the Lions they play your Jacksonville Jaguars, but we'll get into it because we're going to talk about the whole entire.
It's going to be a good game.
Let's talk about it. Let's go ahead, get into it. Pull up.
So let's go over. Yeah, let's go over week 1. Our pick'em, the awesome segment is back, and we'll see if Gabe actually
I have
keeps
it.
Hold of the records.
I have a document. I'll make it.
But he never stays true to it. So we'll see if he can do it. Let's go over it. All right. First game, San Francisco 49ers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The spread is -2.5 for the 49ers, +2.5 for the Steelers, with the odds being -108, with the Steelers being -112, with the money line for the Niners -130, Steelers +110. I think this is actually a really tough one for me, but I'm going to go Niners here. I think Niners win by a field goal. I think they're just going to be the better team, but I do see this being a close one.
Yeah, I got 49ers obviously being the favorite. It's tough because obviously they're going on the road. 49ers being easy. I think they're going to be a better team. I don't think the Steelers are going to do well this season, so I'll go 49ers on this one. Pretty easy for me.
Really? You don't think? I think the Steelers are going to be pretty good. I just don't know if they're good enough to beat the Niners week 1. But for caution to like everybody who's listening to this is all week 1, and we all know week 1 you see some crazy shit that will probably.
We already saw an upset. We might see some more. We don't know.
Look, Jaguars won their first game 2 years ago and then went like 1-16. So like just keep that in mind.
Anything can happen. All right,
Let's go. Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Carolina Panthers +3.5. Atlanta Falcons -3.5, with the odds being the exact same for both teams, -110, with the money line going -198 to the Falcons, with the Panthers being +166. I'm going Falcons here, man. I think Falcons are going to be a sneaky good team. The more I kind of went over the team and kind of leading up to this week 1, in the division, on our division predictions, I was a little skeptical about them, and I was leaning more towards the New Orleans to win it. But I think Atlanta could, if Desmond Ridder can actually be good and Kyle Pitts gets some playing time and plays really well, Atlanta could be a sneaky good team. So I'm going to go Atlanta here. I think Panthers are probably going to be the worst team in the league. So
I mean, yeah, I think these are two bad teams altogether. I don't think it's going to be a great game. I mean, it'd be interesting. It's kind of like the meh game for me. The Atlanta Falcons, I really don't know anybody on the team. Matt Collins used to be a Dolphin. That's all I know. I'll go Atlanta. I'll go the home team on week 1. Sure. 3.5 points. Sure. They win by 2 field goals. Sure.
And mind you, we're both going for them to cover.
Yeah.
All right. Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is -110 at home. Houston Texans +10 away, with the odds being -105 for Baltimore and -115 for the Texans. Man, this is a tough one.
Yeah, because just the points. The
I think the spread is going to be tough. Baltimore, they're definitely going to win the game. The thing is, I don't know what we're going to get from Houston. I mean, obviously, rookie quarterback. I don't think they're going to be very good this year, but I don't know necessarily how well I feel about the Ravens either. The Ravens aren't the strongest team. They have a pretty weak defense, which is kind of weird to think of the Ravens having a weak defense, but they do. I'm going to go Houston with a +10, but obviously the Ravens win.
Yeah, I got the Ravens being the favorite.
The Ravens can't cover.
Yeah, I got the Ravens. You know what? I'm gonna give the Ravens 14. I mean, this is kind of a prove year for Lamar Jackson. Give me the Ravens covering -10. Even though that's a tough number. Like if it was 9.5, I'd be like, okay, that's easy. But they put it right at 10. That's like, okay, you got to be 12 or 13, something like that. But give me the Ravens. I'll give the Ravens. Ravens with 14.
All right, Gabe's got the cover. I got them not covering. Cincinnati Bengals at Cleveland Browns. Cincinnati Bengals -1.5. Browns +1.5, with the odds being minus 115 for the Bengals on the spread, and Cleveland minus 105 with the spread, with the money line being minus 126, with the Browns being plus 108. I feel like they're giving the Browns
a lot of. They're giving a lot. What have they proven? What has Deshaun Watson done to show you?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Deshaun Watson in the preseason. I haven't, but I haven't heard anything great about him either. I don't know what they're smoking. I mean, granted, they are going to be at Cleveland, but I mean, Cincinnati ain't far. I mean, it's Ohio battle. Yeah. But dude, give me the Bengals here. Like this is going to be over. I think the Bengals win by 10, dude. Like this is insane. Like this is easy money right here.
I mean, we're in September, so it's not like snowing or anything. There's no like bad weather that we have to deal with. Or, it's gonna be slippery ball. Give me the Bengals easy. Joe Burrow just got paid. You know what I mean? So.
Dude, I don't know. I am genuinely shocked. There must be something I'm forgetting or missing.
Are there injuries? I haven't looked at the news.
Wait, is Burrow still hurt? Am I crazy? That might be why.
Nope, Burrow
might change everything for me.
No, Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, headline first. Bengals wire.
And they're gonna start week 1.
Update on whether he's playing. Just tell me whether he's playing or not. He's participating fully. So as of 2 days ago, ESPN is reporting that Joe Burrow is participating fully, returning from a calf strain. Remember that was the injury.
Remember we saw playing.
Yeah, that was the. Yeah, remember we saw the video.
Oh, that's what made me question it.
Yeah, but
so I guess it sounds like he's playing.
Either way,
I'll take Joe Burrow on one leg over Deshaun Watson.
Even if Joe Burrow wasn't playing, still give me the Bengals. Are you crazy?
All right, let's go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Minnesota Vikings. Tampa Bay plus 5.5, Minnesota minus 5.5, with the odds being a minus 115 for the Vikings and minus 105 for the Bucks. Give me the Vikings here. I think the Bucks are dumpster fire. I have no faith in Baker Mayfield. I think he conned everybody in those last couple of days at Los Angeles. That guy's a soldier.
He's an animal.
Yeah, and you don't got to play in that heat. You're gonna play in the dome. Give me the Vikings here.
Yeah, I'm a root. I have a couple friends who are Vikings fans. I'm a root for the Vikings.
To cover, by the way.
They got to cover 6 or more points. Give me the Vikings at home. That's pretty easy for me.
All right, are you ready for the Poo Poo Bowl?
We got
the Poo Poo.
I thought it was the Atlanta game, but whatever. I guess so. I think Washington Commanders are better than what you think, but obviously I think the Cardinals are tanking. The Cardinals are tanking, obviously.
No, I'm with you. I get you're right. I think that Atlanta, Carolina might be worse. But got Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. Arizona Cardinals plus 7. Washington Commanders minus 7, with the odds for the Commanders being minus 114. For the Cardinals is minus 106. Dude, so look, I don't follow the I don't know. Why is the Cardinals being projected so bad? Obviously they lost a lot of pieces.
Yeah,
but is Murray still playing, or is he holding out? Like what's going on?
Right now he's out, and they have Josh Dobbs as a starter. ESPN has Josh Dobbs as a starter, and Clayton Tune. So
because did he get hurt in preseason or late last season? Right, my bad.
Yeah, so they didn't activate him. It was his knee, so they did not activate him as of 11 days ago. The Cardinals don't plan to activate Murray from the PUP list, so he's still on the PUP list. As of 11 days ago.
Yeah, so I think Washington might thrash him. This is Washington's time to really just
the Cardinals are on the road.
In the mouth.
They're on the road
in the mouth.
You're not starting your best player. Do you mean Hopkins left? So,
to win to probably arguably worse team, but we'll talk about that in the next game. But I'm going Commanders 1 by 10. I get them to cover in the 7.
Yeah, I mean Commanders. Commanders plus 10.
I saw Josh Dobbs up close late last year against that Tennessee Jags game. Dude is not good.
He's not good.
Not
officially.
Good team around.
You heard it here first. He saw it with his own eyes. The eye tests. Not good. Josh Dobbs.
And he had Derrick Henry behind him, and he ain't gonna have no Derrick Henry behind him in Arizona. So, all right. Speaking of Derrick Henry, we got the Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints. Tennessee is +3. New Orleans Saints -3, with the odds being for the New Orleans Saints -105, with the Titans being -115. Give me the Saints easy with the
Saints.
cover. I think Tennessee is going to be awful. I do not think they're going to be good. You're going to have rookie quarterback. Yeah, you got DeAndre Hopkins, but who knows how. I mean, all the rookie quarterbacks did not really look too great this preseason. Derrick Henry's probably going to get traded halfway through the season. Like, this is just they just need to hit. This is a reset year for the Titans. New Orleans, they're not the most strongest team, but man, they got ballers on the defense.
They're going to win their division. I think they're going to win the division. We talked about it earlier, but they'll probably win the division.
They got ballers on the defense, and I think Derek Carr is still a pretty good quarterback. Is he a top 5, top 10? Probably not, but he's.
I think he's
good.
He'll be productive.
All right, so
I think we agree on the Saints.
They're covering.
Saints, I got them 6 points or more. Give me the Saints.
All right, now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. -4.5 for the Jags, with a +4.5 for the Colts, with the odds being a -105 for the Jags, with a -115 for the Colts. Give me the Jags all day, and I'm not even being a homer.
Not being a homer. As he says, this wearing a Jags hat and a Jags jersey, he's not a homer.
No, but I'm being completely objective here. Like, the Colts that's another team that's just not gonna be good. Their offensive line is gonna be atrocious. They have no weapons outside of Michael Pittman, which I don't even think he's that great. Jonathan Taylor's that whole saga happening. Dude, rookie quarterback. They have no pass rush whatsoever. Like, Kwity Paye, I don't think is going to be that great. I don't think he's going to lead the line. They're just not a good team. They're going to be one of the worst teams. This whole AFC South is terrible outside of Jacksonville. So I think even if you're at Andy, give me the Jags win by 14. I don't even think this is close. Wow. I'll take that -105 on the spread. That's really good odds. That's good money. You can almost double it. Not double. You can almost make your money back. Plus, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank there, but regardless, -105 is not bad. I'll definitely take that all day.
I'll take the Jags. I'm wondering what you thought about the Colts going forward, but I'll take the Jags. -4.5. I feel like I might be a little bit closer, but give me the Jags on the over. I mean, on the road, should win. Y'all got all the hype,
bro.
Trevor Lawrence, this is your year.
Yeah, I mean, you got to that -4.5 is almost disrespectful. You got to dominate that, like, especially the way they looked in the this preseason. I think the team's going to be fighting for wooden spoon is the Colts, Titans, Cardinals, and Panthers. Oh, and Houston maybe. I'll say those are the big five fighting for that number one spot in the draft.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's move on to the next one. Philadelphia Eagles at the New England Patriots. Philadelphia -4, New England Patriots +4, with the odds being -115 for the Eagles and the Patriots being -105. I'm not super high on the Patriots. Patriots always find a way to keep games close, I will say. So I don't think the Eagles are going to win by a lot, but I do think the Eagles do cover with a -4. I think they can win by a touchdown.
Oh, they'll win by more. Give me the Eagles. I got them going back to the Super Bowl. Give me the Eagles. I trust in Jalen Hurts.
Playing at Foxborough is tough, man.
This year?
That turf is dog shit.
They're going to do it with Zeke?
Oh, yeah. that turf is horrendous in New England. All right. Got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. Las Vegas +3.5, with the Broncos being a -3.5, with the odds of being at -105 for the Broncos and -115 for the Raiders. To me, this is a little bit of a tough one. Obviously, Raiders going to have pretty much a whole new offense with Josh McDaniels. You're bringing in Jimmy G. I'm curious to see how well he holds up in that system. I mean, he's shown that he played well in that system in New England before he got traded to San Francisco and before Josh McDaniels went to Las Vegas. So I think they're trying to reignite that. Devontae Adams, like, you got ballers on defense with Crosby and like, man, the thing is, I can't trust Denver until I see otherwise. That's my biggest thing.
My feeling.
I know you have Sean Payton and you have Russell Wilson, but you're already starting to get like this weird tension with, these. I don't know if we're not going to talk about too deep, but like the whole like Sean Payton saying stop kissing babies, you're not running for president, Russell Wilson, all this stuff. Wow. So I don't know. I still feel like there's going to be dysfunction. I'm going to go Raiders win.
Raiders win? Okay.
I'm going to go Raiders win.
Okay. Raiders win.
I'm going to go Broncos not getting the spread, and I'll take the Raiders on the money line. So I think they win the game. I'm
also a wait to see guy because if I'm basing it off of last year was horrendous. But it's like so low. This guy was, potential MVP, top running back, like top quarterback. How can it get worse? Is it going to get it worse? The Raiders traveling. I want to say like the elements. They're going to travel to Denver. Let's see how conditioned the Raiders are. Can it get worse? 3.5 points. You know what? I'm gonna go with the favorite of the home team because I wish JoJo was here because then I would love to see like his idea of what he thought of the season going forward. I'll go with the
You're taking team. Broncos on the spread.
I'll go with the whole team winning by six points or more. 2 field goals. 2 field goals.
Okay.
It's a mile high. Yeah, listen, the ball goes further. The ball goes further. You can kick further when there's less air. So I'll go with them.
I just feel like there's more questions with the Broncos. Like I guess we'll see.
There's more questions.
I think the Raiders should be better, and even last year they should be better than what the records they're producing. And the problem is the Raiders always start off strong, but then they fizzle off, and they always tend to kind of choke. And look, I mean, we saw what Jimmy G can be a serviceable quarterback. He's not going to like turn the ball over or anything. And I think you got Josh Jacobs. Like you can run the ball. Like they got to. I feel pretty confident. So I'm gonna go Raiders win. And even if they didn't, like, look, do the money line at your own discretion. I think they're gonna win, but they're definitely getting the spread. They're definitely gonna get within 3.5.
Yeah, I got Russell Wilson not being as bad as he was last year. Hopefully he's better. Hopefully. Keep your fingers crossed.
All right. We got an NFC West battle. LA Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. LA Rams plus 4.5, Seattle minus 4.5, with the odd being minus 105 for the Seattle Seahawks and minus 115 for the Rams. I'm going to go Seahawks at home to get the spread and cover.
Do you believe in Geno?
I like those odds at minus 105.
Do you believe in Geno? I believe in Geno. He did the impossible. You know what?
I believe in Geno enough to beat the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Cooper Kupp still going to be out injured. We don't really know what we're going to get with Matt Stafford. The Rams defense lost a lot of pieces. That's not the same team versus the Seahawks. They're kind of running it back, Yeah. I think they're good enough to beat the Rams by 5 points.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks over.
All right, we got the Green Bay Packers at Chicago. Green Bay plus 1.5, Chicago minus 1.5, with the odds being minus 104 for the Bears and minus 118 for the Packers. Probably the most storied rivalry in the NFL, the most diehard rivalry in all of professional football. This is a big matchup. I've always wanted to go to a Bears-Packers game. Always. I've never gotten the chance to, but I really want to go, whether it be at Chicago or at Green Bay.
Now would be the time of year because, it's nice. I mean, it might be kind of hot, but at least
I want to go out there when it's freezing.
Bro. Okay, you don't.
That's how you experience it. You got to go out there in the frozen tundra.
What are you, you're a caveman?
Right off the lake.
Neanderthal?
That's what it is, man. You got to do it. No, don't get me wrong. I'd probably die out there, whether it be Green Bay or Chicago. They're both freezing cities, but nonetheless, it's definitely a game that I want to see eventually sometime in my life, no matter what stadium it's at. But give me the Bears to win at home by a tud. I think, like we talked briefly about the Bears at the beginning of this episode, I think the Bears are going to be pretty solid, and I think the Packers, they're not going to be super great. I think it's going to be kind of like a transition year. Not a complete reset year, but I think it's going to be a little bit more of a transition year with Jordan Love finally getting in. We got to see what Jordan Love has. I have a hard time betting on him against the leading rushing quarterback in the league last year, and a team in the Bears that just honestly just got better. versus we can't really say the same about the Packers.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. People they like Jordan Love. I don't know what his, how deep his skill set is. We're gonna get a chance to see. This is your show. We'll see how the Packers do. I don't expect them to do anything. They'll probably be dog shit in the division. The Bears, like I said, I expect them to be sneaky good. I expect them to be better than what people expect. So give me the Bears. That's more than a field goal. Give me that.
All right, Gabe, put them up. Put them up. Fins up. Miami Dolphins.
Finally.
At the LA Chargers. Miami Dolphins +3, LA Chargers -3, with the odds being the exact same for both teams, -110. You're having the guy who was picked over Herbert.
Here we go. We finally have the debate. We can finish all the debate. Everybody's like, who's better? We can finish it. It'll be right here. This is the only one game, and after it's definitive. No, we will not speak about this later on. This is how we end it right here. Game week 1.
I will say this is a really good game. This is a very tough game to pick. Important game. I'm sorry, Gabe. Herbert will always be better than Tua.
Wow.
No, doesn't matter.
He's a hater, man. He's a hater. Tune-on. Attack this guy. Attack him.
Hater.
Attack him. Dox this guy. Find out where he lives. Light. Obviously, he lives in Jacksonville. Look at his jersey.
Yeah, I live in Jacksonville. Go. Everybody go search for me up there.
Find his house. Hunt him down.
All right. I'm going to go +3 with the Dolphins. I think Chargers win by 1 point.
By 1 point? Was it be like 20, 21? What is it? What do you got?
What we saw last night. I can see a 27, 28.
Okay.
27. Listen. It's going to be a higher scoring game. But I like the Chargers at home. I don't know. I think that travel all the way to the West Coast, I don't know.
Oh, man.
Even though part of me feels like travel's a little overrated nowadays. I don't know how much travel really plays a part, but
the humidity and stuff.
Either way, I'm going. I have a hard time picking the money line, so I'm just going to go full spread here. I just think I got the Dolphins +3.
I got the Dolphins winning straight out. Give me the Dolphins. The conditioning. Y'all don't have humidity in LA. They don't have no humidity. It's all cool out there. It's like 70 degrees. Y'all got to deal with the smog. LA. I know you got to travel. You got to go to LA, but guess what? You know how hot it is here? We just had like 7 hurricanes come through Florida, okay? We're all under threat.
So did they.
Yeah, we got better conditioning, okay? The hardest working, best condition, nastiest, most professional team. It's the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins, baby. I'm 2 all the way, baby. Here we go.
Yeah, I have a hard time picking, but I'm definitely
bring out that wheelbarrow. Bring out that wheelbarrow. Cocajones all day.
Cocajones.
Give me the Dolphins. They're going to win straight out. Dolphins win.
I didn't know I could do that right there. Now we can see us bigger. There we go.
Oh, wow.
I wish I would have known that earlier.
All right. Don't do that. That's better. All right.
Okay. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. All right. Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Big rivalry matchup on Sunday night. We got the Dallas Cowboys -3.5 at the New York Giants in the Meadowlands at +3.5, with the Giants being a -115, with the Cowboys being a -105. And man, this is another tough one for me. I'm gonna go Giants +3.5. It's another one. I don't know if I can pick a money line on this, but
they lose, but they cover. Or you got them winning.
I got them lose, but they cover.
Okay, you got them lose, but they cover.
No, my bad. I got the Giants winning. I think I picked the Giants winning, but I'm not super confident in it, so I wouldn't bet the money line on it. But I definitely have them with the spread.
Yeah, I know nothing.
The Giants can win it.
I know nothing about the Giants. I don't think they're gonna go pretty. I don't think they're good in their division. But as much as I hate the Cowboys, a lot of smart people, smarter than me, people who actually follow football a lot closer, who actually watch them, say Cowboys should be good. They say it should be good. Listen,
don't say it.
I'm a Cowboys hater. Listen, I'm a hater. I'm a hater.
Gabe.
I'm a hater.
Every year.
I'm a hater. Like, you know what?
Don't say it, Gabe. They're Super Bowl contenders?
No, hell no. I'll never say that. Are you crazy? I'm still with Philly, bro. I still believe in Jalen Hurts. Know,
Gabe has a Miami Dolphins shirt, but he lives in Texas, so he's a secret closeted Cowboys fan.
I ain't no fucking Cowboys fan. I see it all the time.
I love how you.
I see it all the time.
I still can't. I can't believe you said, I've been hearing. I'm like, oh, here it goes.
They're saying, listen, they're saying they're better than they should be. They're saying, people are hyping up. They're hyping up Dak Prescott. They're hyping up Dak Prescott.
Well, what? They went on a playoff run last year, right? So that means this year they're not going to make it. It's always alternate. They can never stay consistent.
I think
the Giants are good. The Giants had a big win against Minnesota last year.
But I'm saying I don't know. I don't know about the Giants. I don't follow them. Daniel Jones.
Saquon's healthy.
I don't know about the Giants. I'll pick the Cowboys.
So you got
the
Cowboys.
Cowboys to win.
I got the Giants on the spread. All right, we got the Buff. This is a good matchup. Monday Night Football.
This is actually one of the better of the week. I'm sorry. This is the best game.
This might be the best game of the week. Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. We got the Buffalo Bills minus 2.5 and at the New York Jets with the plus 2.5 with the spread, the odds being 110 for both teams. And I got the real New York team, Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
The only team in New York.
JoJo would be proud.
Winning. And they're going to get the spread. Honestly, I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think that 2.5 is just enough for me to pick the Bills. Because I think the Jets, they're still, I don't know. I'm always very iffy about like brand new team, quarterbacks, coaches. I'm always like, let's see how it goes. And versus the Bills, you're running it back. That's always a big advantage, just being able to have that continuity and bring it back. So I got the Bills winning by 3, but it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, this should be
shout
a
out to
game.
the real New York team.
I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna, as a Dolph fan, wearing a Cocojones shirt. If you're watching on YouTube, please follow and subscribe. I'm gonna go with the Jets, man. I think this is a close game. It's closer than what you think. I think the Jets win maybe by 3, like a field goal. But I'll go with the Jets. I think their defense. I want to see what the Bills' defense does in this game, but give me the Jets. I think their defense is better.
All right, and that's our Week 1 picks of the week.
Bam,
Gabe is going to keep track of it and give us the record next week to see how we did Week 1.
I'm gonna make you guys some money, man. I'm making you guys some money, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't. y'all gonna win. Just stick with me. Don't stick with that guy over there. I don't know about him. But can we talk about
next?
Yeah, I just want to talk about some more
amateur football.
Yeah, let's talk about amateur football. It should be pro football. It'll probably be in the next 10 years. It'll probably be professional football. It'll be like it'll be a second league.
It'll be semi-pro.
Yeah, semi-pro. Just college football overall in general. I think the biggest story of the week that I saw was I had it pulled up. I had the stats pulled up for Colorado. I want to talk about Colorado and Deion Sanders, what he's doing with that program. Obviously, him leaving Jackson State, going to I guess a bigger conference, but not really a bigger school. They're not known. Colorado State's not known for football. So.
No, he's going to Colorado, not Colorado State. So
sorry, Colorado.
All right, I feel like you know this better than I do, so I'm going to tell you what I know, and then maybe you just kind of fill in the gap. So, like, from what I was, he goes to Colorado. He's pretty much been very vocal about like we're going to wipe the whole slate clean, get rid of guys you don't want. We're only going to want players who are going to want to be here. Yada yada, all this stuff, and I guess it seems to be working. He ended up winning, obviously going from Jackson State to going to a Power 5 school, now Power 4 school, I guess I'd say. So, I guess, am I missing anything entirely? Like,
so he's been obviously the biggest story. Obviously, Deion coming in with his fame, his acclimates as a professional player, and I always felt like Deion, being a black coach, it was like as good as a player. There's always a situation where you get players that want to go professional. They still want to stay with the game. Maybe they can't play right. They get older, whatever. Obviously, now he has a kid who's playing for him, and they still want to stay around the game. And Deion has always been, just based off his talents, you would think that he know the game and get opportunities like other coaches or other people in the past, other college coaches. So the fact that you put me on full screen, goddamn, I'm like the expert now in Colorado.
There we go.
The fact that he would get this opportunity, I would think because there's been lots of rumors of him going back to Florida State, which is obviously where when he went to school, when he went to college, and there was a lot of kind of disarray in Florida State. So he's kind of had to get out the mud, right? He had to go to HBCU, Jackson State, I think coming out the SWAC conference. And finally he makes his big move. He goes to a bigger a bigger conference, not a bigger school, but I would say a bigger conference that has less known. So I feel like the expectations of him going to that school.
I mean, I think by technicalities, it'd be a bigger school. I mean, it's definitely a school for more
Like population,
more
like
money,
population.
more funding. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I can't tell you. I think the last time they won was like in the early 90s, maybe. They were a top football team. It was in the early 90s. So there's like
Colorado.
Colorado. There's not really a lot of expectations. So the fact that he came in, you know, and he's you know, very, you know, he has a huge character, right? He's like a self-promoter, you know, kind of like, and
Prime time.
yeah, he's prime time. Coach Prime. Call him Coach Prime. You can't call him Deion. Can't call him Coach Sanders. Call him Coach Prime. So I felt like he brought a lot of expectations, and I was kind of rooting for him. I always thought like he should have, you know, it was like for me it would have been a feel good story for him to go back to FSU, and maybe that's a possibility in the future. But the fact that he was able to bring, because the news I saw over the weekend was Deion Sanders, obviously his coaching debut with Colorado. He drew 7.6 million viewers on Fox, which is the most Week 1 big noon Saturday game ever. So it was the most watched game. Now I don't, you know. Maybe that's support. Maybe that's, you know, his detractors, people that are just hating and wanting him to fail.
They played Nebraska, right?
Yeah, they played Nebraska, who's probably a bigger program than Colorado, obviously.
I'm for sure
Yeah.
back in the day. I don't know now.
Yeah.
They've been in the dumps.
Yeah.
For like a
But I mean,
decade now.
if you look at, you know, put your rings in a box.
Historically, yeah.
Put your rings in a box. Box plus minus.
And Dolphins have
We have one.
one. My bad.
Perfect season, baby. That's all we got. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting, you know, for him being a new coach, especially being a black coach, maybe not getting the same opportunities as other coaches would. You know, and there's players that want to do that, like Ed Reed. Ed Reed, you know, obviously Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, coming out of University of Miami. He had, you know, he went to Bethune-Cookman, obviously, but then there was some controversy. He got fired there. There's really a lot of opportunity for black coaches to excel, and I feel like he's put a big spotlight on that program, and I feel like, you know, whether you think he's going to succeed or not, I don't know how they're going to do. I'm not telling you they're going to win a national championship this year, but I feel like he's done enough to, like, the investment that Colorado's put in him, that he's paid for himself. Like, he's brought hype, he's brought views, he's brought, you know, players. I think he has like one of the highest transfer portal numbers in the NCAA. So regardless of whether you think he's going to be good or not, I mean, I think he made a splash, especially for Week 1 in college football. How do you feel about that?
No, I mean, yeah, that's definitely, I mean, especially to do it in a bigger conference, to, you know, I feel like it was kind of like a proving statement. Like, yeah, I can do this on like a high level, you know, even though I'm sure he's always felt that way he could,
Yeah.
but I'm saying to like everybody else, it's like, all right, maybe he can do something in like the higher ranks of college football. You know, I mean, beating in, like we said, like Nebraska hasn't been the same Nebraska in a long time, but I mean, it's still, that's a big win, you know, and, shit, maybe he could be the last Pac-12 champion ever. Like that'd be interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll see week in and week out. I'm gonna check out the schedule right here. I don't know if you have it up, but
well, they're gonna play Nebraska next week.
Oh, my bad. They play Nebraska tomorrow. I got it mixed up. Who did they beat then? They beat TCU.
Texas.
So they got TCU, Nebraska, Colorado State, Oregon, USC, Arizona State, Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, Colorado, Washington State, Utah. So yeah, pretty much the whole freaking Pac-12. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a tough route. I mean, going through Oregon, USC, Arizona State, Oregon State, like, I mean, these are all ranked teams. Utah, 12, like, they got a pretty tough schedule. I'm not gonna lie. The Pac-12 is pretty solid this year. It's gonna be their final year. And it's actually like a pretty solid conference. So we'll see what he does. I mean, obviously it's going to take time and process. So it's like, I wouldn't be like downing him too hard if, like, you know, it doesn't go absolutely perfect. But I mean, if they can at least be a ranked program, they already are a ranked program, but I mean, if they can like push into the top 10, like that'd be a big success, I think.
And speaking of conferences, we want to talk real quick about the ACC. Over the weekend, I actually went on a cruise. I was actually in Orlando, so I was able to go to the LSU game in Orlando at Camping World Stadium. It was a fun game. I hung out with a lot of my fraternity brothers. We were able to watch the game. I feel like that game was highly anticipated because people thought like whoever won that game was probably going to be favorites to win overall, like a natty run. Just quick overview of the FSU LSU game. I felt like FSU dominated overall. LSU had problems with their receivers, a lot of drop passes. In the beginning of the game, it was very ticky-tacky. They were calling little ticky-tacky, calls, maybe the first half. Third quarter, they weren't so ticky-tacky. The last quarter, they were able to call it. Like, I was like, yo, if you call that shit at the beginning of the game, call that shit at the end of the game. But I feel like FSU, I think some people, I think they're going to be favorites for a national run. I think that last time I saw they were ranked number 1 in the AP or something.
Really? I mean, do they just have like an insane like recruitment? I don't something because they haven't looked good in forever. So I'm like,
I didn't come away with them being dominant. They were a better team that day against LSU. I thought they were better on all parts of the games. Running, passing.
They're ranked 4 right now.
Yeah. They're ranked 4. Okay, they were ranked 1 before, but I don't know how it goes. But they're definitely a top team. I think they're kind of expected to go to a natty. But let's talk about the ACC overall in general because there was news about an expansion. I think there was.
I do want to say real quick, I am just a little surprised because they weren't good last year. I guess they must have had an insane recruiting class. Obviously people who follow college football better than me, but I think it's just kind of wild how they went from like non-ranked to like friggin' 4. But but go ahead with the expansion.
Yeah, so we had some news over a couple weeks has been going on. The ACC wants to expand. They're trying to bring in SMU, Cal, and Stanford. Was it? Yeah, it was Stanford.
Yep. Which is the weirdest thing ever. Especially, look, we got to change the names of these conferences.
Yes, that's
at least for the SEC. Yeah. At least for the SEC and the ACC. Big 10, Big 12. You can keep that.
You have 18 teams
whatever.
in the Big 10. I mean,
I guess call it the Big 18. Like, I don't know. We got better names now because how the hell is Stanford, who is literally on the Pacific Coast, and then Cal, which is like not too far from it, on the other side of the bay in San Francisco, and then SMU, this is gonna be weird. I mean, talk about the travel for Stanford and Cal. I mean, granted, these are super wealthy, super rich schools and programs. These are some of the smartest schools in the country. They got money out the ass. But just the sheer travel is going to be insane. That's going to be honestly crazy going back and forth from the East Coast constantly. Because for the traditional ACC team, it's not gonna be a big deal because all right, 1 week we just got to
go to North Carolina, we go to whatever, we go to Rutgers, we go to New Jersey,
and then 1 week you go to Cal or you go to Stanford, and you can probably schedule it to where you can do them back to back. But that and SMU is not far. I mean, that's Houston, I believe. So but man, talk about that's wild. And I am curious to see if they do change the names. It is going to be kind of weird.
It's got to be weird. Again, I think we talked about this earlier about, we talked about it a couple weeks ago about the regionality. I feel like college sports should be regional, but with the money, I think we also discussed how they should probably separate football because I don't think it's feasible. You're going to have all sports. You're going to have UM swimming versus Stanford swimming. How is that going to make sense?
I think those are a little different because the individual sports, because those are meets, and they'll meet up at certain. We're
in the middle of the country. You want to meet up in Colorado? Let's add Colorado to the team.
Look, I will say, these are universities that are basically billion-dollar companies. These are essentially.
But let's say
money out the ass.
Let's talk about football. You talk about travel. Okay, we go play a game Saturday or whatever day. You obviously have to travel to school, right? These are students. They have to still show up. I think. Did you see over the weekend? Let's bring up another upset. When Duke beat Clemson, did you see that game? Duke beat Clemson. All right. Well, one of the players, the quarterback, he went on after the game. I think it was apparently it was post midnight, whatever. The quarterback goes on. They're just filming him after the game. He's still on the field, he's like, hey, I didn't do my homework, Professor Thompson. Can you give me an extension? And then the viral video was the professor coming on. He's like, there's a couple other football players in the same class, and they submitted their homework. So no, you don't get an extension. And that was kind of the funny joke of, he's like, you guys played a great game, but no extension. So that was kind of the funny joke. But imagine that. as we talk about this ACC expansion, you're doing Texas, and SMU was Texas, and California. Like, how is that going to work? The logistics of them still staying pertinent to their educational requirements of them attending
the
classes.
School thing is weird.
Yeah, unless they're doing online classes. If they're doing online shit, then it doesn't matter.
I was gonna say that unless they can somehow like prioritize them and put them in like online classes, so like when you do road trips, you can just continue to, do things online. We'll see. I mean, me and you both went to college, so we've seen some of the football players and some of the classes they take. I mean, some of them are like super fucking easy classes.
There's a little underhand. I mean, there's been controversies in the past. I could tell you from FSU of like players just. People changing grades, going back and changing grades, just trying to, keep.
I mean, the whole Derrick Rose thing with the Memphis basketball, but I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting. I think from a sporting perspective, this is great. I think it's cool, but man, I tell you what, some of the rivalries is gonna be kind of missed. Like a lot of those Pac-12. I mean, which kind of bring like Cal, UCLA. Like I mean, that whole California thing is just being completely blown up, honestly. Yeah. Which is pretty well. I mean, I guess you're kind of keeping UCLA, USC, and then you're keeping Cal and Stanford, but it's just everything's just going to be kind of odd. I feel like out of all the conferences to completely disband, the Pac-12 seems the most inconvenient one too. Like, say if it was the Big 12, you could throw in the Midwest teams into the Pac-12. You know what I mean? You can throw some of the Midwest teams into the ACC. But when you have specifically just one coast completely like disappearing, that makes it tough because now you have to get all these West Coast over into the East Coast. And I feel like the Big 10 and the Big 12, they could have picked them up and it wouldn't have been so bad. But there's only so much space, and ACC was the only one that was been yet to expand. Yeah. So they had to go to the ACC, and ACC probably felt the need to do something too. And I mean, bringing on a Cal and a Stanford is a pretty big deal.
We'll see, man. I felt like the Texas makes, it's a little bit closer, more reasonable, but man,
SMU is not too bad. Yeah. It's the two Cal ones, which is tough, especially, I mean, like I said, those are really like top end schools. Those are really tough schools. Like, so.
All right.
We'll see.
Let's talk about what
we want to talk a little bit of.
Let's talk about what you really want to talk about, because I know we have Real Fans FC. Shout out to Real Fans FC. There's a lot of subscribers. They don't follow football and everything else we're talking about, but they follow soccer. So I'm gonna let Julian take the floor. Please tell us about how Inter Fort Lauderdale is doing. I mean, we had a major matchup that they played Nashville. They played LA. Let's talk about these games.
Yeah, I think the LA game was massive, man. I mean, I firmly believed LA was the best team in the league. I mean, they're the reigning MLS champions. They made it to the finals in the Champions Cup. Like they were a really dominant team. And then after their exit in the final for the Champions Cup, they just kind of like slowly fizzled off. And I think because they had so many games back to back, trying to balance out the two tournaments between MLS play and the Champions Cup, and then trying to prioritize both, it just ended up being too much for them. So it kind of like fell up. But now they're kind of like on the rise again. And I think this Miami game against LAFC was a big statement game. Don't get me wrong. I think LA was the better team. I think even though Miami won 3-1, LA was the better team. They couldn't put their chances away. Their star player, Denny Bowanga, he was pretty much just trying to shoot on national television. He saw all the eyeballs on him, and instead of passing it off and creating chances that should have been there, that he decided to just keep it himself and take the shot, ended up being detrimental to the team, and it affected them. And even the ones where he did have clear-cut opportunities, he couldn't put them away, which is very rare coming from him because he's usually super clinical. He's been one of the top goal scorers in the league, in the continent. Dude had 25 goals in all competitions. But Inter Miami, they were able to still get through and win it. I mean, Messi's one of those, he didn't have the greatest of games, but when Messi doesn't have a great game, he knows how to support the team around him. I mean, he got 2 assists and created a couple opportunities and was able to keep the team afloat and win it, even though at times they didn't look that great. And that's just been kind of the story of what Messi's been able to do, is just elevate everybody else around him, not just his moments of magic and brilliance, but like also what he's been able to do for everybody else and open up the field for everybody else, because his 2 assists One was just a great play and just a very unselfish play to give it to Campana to score. But then the first one to Jordi Alba was just an absolute class of a pass. It was insane. Fed it through 4 defenders and left him wide open with a one-on-one with the keeper and put it away. So, yeah, I mean, this leads us into the game tomorrow where it's going to be the first game without Messi since his arrival. We entering international break, and sadly, MLS, and I'm hoping this is the final year they do this, but MLS has historically continues to play through international breaks, which is super annoying and it's super frustrating and honestly can affect some like playoff positions and playoff applications because it's just stupid that we decide to play through it. And I think there's been little rumblings and leaks coming out saying that in the offseason and next year's schedule, they're going to really like fix that and make sure that doesn't happen anymore, which I hope it doesn't, because playing through international break, look, if you want to be deemed as a top league in the world, don't play through international breaks. All the top leagues in the world pause for international breaks, England, France, Spain, Italy, Germany. Like if you want to be up with the big dogs in the top 5 leagues, you gotta conform to what they do. I mean, you can't be playing through international breaks. You force teams to put out bad products and anything. And Inter Miami is by far going to have the most players sent on international duty in the entire MLS, 9 players. But even with 9 players being gone to international duty, it still kind of shows how deep the team is. Because honestly, even coming into this Kansas City game, I still feel pretty confident that they win this. Kansas City, one of the worst teams in the league. They're not very good. And you're playing at home in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, Gabe would like to say. And
take water breaks. We're gonna take water breaks. It's gonna be too
hot. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. It depends. They're very hit or miss. It's been hot, boys. It's been hot out there. But
Category 5 out there somewhere in the ocean.
But I do feel pretty good. I do feel pretty good that they could win these next 2 games without him. Messi did have a little bit of a scare last night in the Argentina-Ecuador game, where he came off early. And if anybody knows Messi in his career, he refuses to come off the field. And he ended up coming off. But a lot of people are saying that, and what's coming out is that he just seems that he was just tired. He needed a break. I mean, the dude's been playing 2 games a week since late July. I mean, which is insane if you don't follow soccer. Like 2 games a week consistently that much in a row is it's a lot. It's very taxing. I mean, these guys run miles and miles a game. So, and even though Messi is prone to walk a lot, and he does his quick bursts of speed when he feels necessary.
He's an old man. It's
still a lot, man. It's still a lot, man. Yeah, and he's older. So it looks like all signs are pointing to that he's going to sit out this Bolivia game and fly back to Miami sooner. Because let's be real, Argentina doesn't need him to beat Bolivia. Ecuador is a really good team, but Bolivia is kind of the bottom feeder of South America. And that Argentina team is stacked. They don't really need him there. And I don't think Argentina's going to risk it. And I think Messi himself is starting to realize, like, it's not worth me playing it. So he might come back early, but we'll see as time gets closer to that game. But, yeah. And I think he might come back for that Atlanta game. We'll see. There's a lot of questions to if he does come back and play in that Atlanta game, if he's going to play on turf. Like, that is a big, big question mark. He did say in a press conference saying that, hey, I used to play on turf as a kid in an academy, so it's not something I'm not used to. But he never said that he was going to play on it. And look, I know it's been kind of like it's kind of ramping up steam in like the NFL about the whole playing on turf thing, but it is a massive no-no in the soccer world to have turf. And I think it's one of the biggest things that's held back MLS from being taken seriously is having the teams that play in NFL stadiums have turf, and it's incredibly dangerous. I mean, if anybody's played on turf, you feel the difference. And even if you follow the NFL, you've heard players you hear Odell saying like that. He's like, I'm convinced that shit fucked up my knee. Like I've seen games last year with the Jaguars. One of our defensive linemen, Deion Sanders, completely ripped his Achilles, and that dog shit turf in New Jersey, pre-snap. Right at snap, he completely collapsed. That shit's got to get out the game. It's ridiculous that you have billionaire owners who make so much fucking money, request billions of dollars from the cities and taxpayer money to build these stadiums, and then they can't put fucking grass. And meanwhile, I bet you they have fucking front yards that are immaculate.
Yeah, that are paved. Insane. They have people come and cut the grass all day.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's horse shit.
I've heard about the problem.
I'm curious to see if it happens.
I've heard about the problem with turf in general, especially with the women's game, because some of the compounds they use, because obviously it's just like concrete, and they lay fucking rubber, and then they lay there's layers of whatever they put on, and they finally put the actual turf, the fucking plastic, on top of it. There's like risk of cancers, and I've heard that certain women. The girls and women are higher risk of certain cancers just based off the turf they play, because especially in the professional league, because that's like their standard. They don't play on grass, which is one of the things that the women's soccer teams has been fighting for. It's like, let's play the same standards as a man. Let's bring that to the women's game. So, but yeah, do you kind of expect him? So I guess that's still kind of up in the air. He's gonna go home early. Is he gonna play on the turf? I think he will play, but do you think more than likely, like, he'll be coming off the bench? Like, he's not gonna be starting playing, whatever, 75 minutes.
Yeah,
So you think he probably coming, at the half or something?
If he misses the Bolivia game, he's going to play the full game. At the end of the day, it's kind of all hands on deck. Like, they gotta win as many games as possible to get into the playoffs. The question is, the thing is that Atlanta Stadium, the Mercedes-Benz, like, Atlanta is notoriously known for having. Atlanta has the highest attendance average in the entire MLS. They pretty much fill out that Mercedes Dome,
which is brand
every
new.
game almost. Yeah. They almost fill it out, and it's another one. It's ridiculous. You spend fucking billions of dollars on a stadium. You can open up the butthole and let fucking sunlight
open up the butthole.
Listen, you've seen it, like,
hashtag open up the butthole. Yes, I know.
And let the fucking sun in and grow some goddamn grass. Your fucking Arthur Blank is one of the richest men on this fucking planet. Grow some fucking grass. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's so insane to me. And I think, like, don't get me wrong, it's talked about in football, but I feel like it's kind of brushed off a lot. You hear it a lot in the players, and I think it's starting to get more popular. Like, come on, let's get rid of this shit. I don't know if you remember the shit in the 90s. That was, like, basically, like, fucking concrete.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, like, back
it was just
the greatest show on turf.
It's a carpet rug. It was a rug that they just laid on top of the concrete.
Yeah, that was terrible. But yeah, I mean, it's terrible for your knees and everything. I mean, like, I don't know. You want to protect your players. And I think it's a little bit more talked about in soccer because there's just more running. There's just these players are going to be on this field back and forth for 90 minutes. It's football, it's talked about, but I don't know if you know it, but you mostly hear it from wide receivers. The guys that are going out there full on sprinting, making cuts and stuff. And that's the most dangerous part about it is
the cuts, when you make angles.
Cuts because your cleat gets fucking stuck in there. Like, I play on turf sometimes, but I make sure I use turf cleats, which is they're not as deep as normal cleats. They're like little nubs, but they're really used for, like, indoor kind of, like, I don't know. There's multiple different types of turf, and the ones I have are more for, like, shorter turf for, like, 5v5 little small courts, where the grass is really, really small, but it works good enough for, like, the playing turf that you see in, like, NFL and, like, game. But yeah, we'll see, because they're gonna do it for the World Cup. They said all NFL stadiums FIFA is requiring them. You have to put real grass, so they're probably gonna tear them out and put in real grass. But my guess is they're gonna get rid of that grass and put the turf right back fucking on there, because the NFL and the PA, they try to do shit, but they always, I don't know, whatever. They're always weird fucking about it, but because they don't want to spend that much. Meanwhile, a bunch of NFL stadiums have fucking grass. But regardless of the point, yeah, we'll see. I think Miami wins the game, and I think next week I still feel pretty confident against Atlanta, regardless if Messi's there or not. I think the team just has a lot of depth. I feel before the beginning of the season, they had absolutely no depth. They had lost a lot of injuries. Now players getting healthy, all the summer window signees. The team's a lot better now. So, yeah, I think they can. I still believe they can make the playoffs, man.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. All right, let's talk a little.
I root for the U.S. men's national team, but man, that chant is horrible.
Yeah. Let's finish it off. Let's talk a little baseball. I wish JoJo was here. We'd talk more baseball. Obviously, we're going to talk the playoff runs, but us being South Florida, we follow South Florida sports, so we got to talk about the Marlins a little bit. Julian, I don't know how much of the games you've been watching. I just know, as of, a couple days ago with the, injury posting of Sandy Alcantara, is looking pretty grim. Marlins are supposed to come out. We'll talk about the Miami Marlins. Coming out the half, we're like very hopeful, like, trade deadline. They made big trades. I think Berger has been a big trade at third base for them. They've had big bats, big home runs. They've had big games. They won. Maybe the other day they won like 5 out of 6, but we're kind of on a skid. I think they face LA this weekend. They had the first game. I think they scored 10 runs. It was like 10-0. It was like a Florida. It was a Florida Panthers night that night because they were like, we want 10, we want 10. I remember that. But then last night was like a Udonis Haslem night. Had a big loss. I think. What was the end of the game? Because last time I saw it was like 9 something. The LA scored 9 points. Kind of on skid right now. But let's talk about Miami Marlins and their prospects for the playoffs.
Yeah. So going into last week, so they ended up losing a couple series to the Nationals, and then they got swept by the Rays in a short series. And then you came into this National series, which is going to be really big. And I said this 4-game series with the Nats is going to be the make or break if they make the playoffs. They need to get at least 3 out of this series. And then they get the full sweep. And then on top of that, you go to the Dodgers, or the Dodgers come here.
Yeah.
And then you win 2 games, and then you drop the final game against the Dodgers last night.
Tough loss.
That was kind of a tough loss, but you went on a 6-game run, which is what you needed to stay in that hunt. Now you're coming up against a big series against the Phillies, where Phillies are you're 2 games behind them in the wild card race. Phillies are top of the wild card. This is a huge series, and I hate to say it again, but like I think it's going to come down to the series again. I mean, this is like you needed to beat the Nats because the Nats are not a good team. They're not having a good season, and you beat a really good Dodgers team in two out of 3. And I think now you're coming into the series where it's going to be really, really crucial. I mean, you're going to have. Let me pull up the exact schedule, real quick.
I had it right here. They're going to play. So they play They got. Let me see. Phillies, the Brewers, the Braves, the Mets.
Yeah, so you have to show up in this Phillies game. Look, so the whole Alcantara thing, when it first went down, I was like, man, that's a blow. But then when I kind of think about it, I'm like, man, maybe our playoff hopes are out of what. But then once I kind of think about it, I'm like, well, Sandy hasn't had the greatest year. He just now post All-Star break, he started to actually like
get better,
play well, and get well, and kind of seeing the Sandy of old. Sandy is by far the most talented pitcher on the team. But this year, Luzardo has been playing really well, and I think that even though Sandy's gone, there's still a chance because that crazy run that they went on mid-season, that was with Sandy not playing super great. Not Cy Young Sandy, at least. So I still think there's hope. I still believe the biggest is obviously the big acquisitions in the trade deadline with Berger and Bell and kind of getting the bats like hitting well. There's still an issue with leaving runners on base. They still really struggle with that. But to me, man, the pitching is just so thin. Like I'm not huge on any of the pitchers. I think the bats are solid, but I think the bats can get better. Don't get me wrong. I think they can. I think they're playing really well, and I think they can get better. They need to put runners at plate, man. That's the problem. They need to bring them home. Marlins are like, I don't know, maybe top 5 in leaving runners on base this season. So they really need to get those RBIs. But I think the pitching has been like the biggest downfall, and especially in the trade deadline, not really getting any pitching out of that, getting any players to help kind of fill that role. And when we come into the playoffs, I mean, that's what it's going to be. So Sandy's going to at least be out for 15 days, but we don't know exactly how long it's going to be after that 15 days. And I think that hurts playoff chances. Like I don't want to say it hurts playoff chances. I think it hurt if you get into the playoffs. I think that's when it hurts. But I still feel pretty confident in them at least making the playoffs. I mean, we'll see when it comes with this. Man, this is a tough stretch. You know, you got the Phillies,
I was gonna say, listen,
the Brewers, and then you got the Braves. You can beat the Mets. You got the Mets twice, and you got Pittsburgh to end it off. So you got a lot of games that you can win right there. So I think really this Phillies game is gonna really tell a lot and kind of be that measuring stick because, I mean, those are people, that's the team that you're directly competing with. Because what is let me see the exact standings right now.
Yeah, I got the standings up, but as we record this, like we're recording this on the Friday on the 8th, right? So they play today. They're starting the series. From the 8th, we're in September 8th to September 30th. They're going to be playing games all month, and they only have 2 days off. So the fact that you're going through these kind of pitching woes, you're losing Sandy, who's your best pitcher, who's actually was getting better. Maybe he didn't have a great start the first half of the season, and then finally he's starting getting a little good.
5.5 from Philly, by the way.
Yeah, you're 5.5 from Philly. You obviously we're going to be playing them, and like I said, you have this stretch where you're going from the 8th to the 30th. You're playing them. You only have 2 days off with these pitching woes. Like I feel like this is going to be a bad month. They're going to give up a lot of runs, and if you're not getting run help, if you're not scoring runs, it's going to be rough. So maybe we might have had a chance coming out the All-Star break. You might have had a chance like, hey, if we just start playing good games, we win more and whatever. Things start rolling, and I feel like we won that trade, especially with Berger. He's been really good for us. He's been a bright spot on the team. And Jazz, they've been hitting, especially it's been fun seeing the highlights. They've been hitting home runs. They had games where they had multiple home runs. Like I said, they had that amazing game against LA where they scored 10, but then you end the series and you lose by 10 or whatever, and it's kind of tough. So I feel like this is like. It's thin. It's very thin for them, thin margins for them to go forward and make that playoff run. It's just tough. It's tough. When you have injuries, you're not scoring, it's tough. But, I mean, it's been a fun team. I think they brought more excitement to South Florida baseball. I mean, you've seen the attendance. They've had games where, people show up and it's just kind of tough. At this point in the season, it's a lot to surmount. Like you gotta push that rock up the mountain. That rock gets heavy.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to get what you can. I mean, look, then again, like they got 2 on the Dodgers, so I feel pretty confident that they can at least compete in these next couple games. I think, you got to win. You got to win these Philly games. You have to win both Met series, and you got to beat Pittsburgh, and then get what you can out of Milwaukee and get what you can out of the Braves. So we're going to come in. It's going to be tough. It's possible. You're only half a game out. Is what we're seeing here. I don't know what Arizona's schedule is looking like. You're only 3 out from Chicago, and look, you can really change the swing of that for Pittsburgh for that Philly if you can win out 2 out of those 3. I mean, that brings you within 3.5. You feel pretty good. So it's gonna be a really entertaining stretch. I will say that it's gonna be really good. I'm just glad that we have meaningful games in September for the Marlins, which is something we haven't been able to say since. Look, I don't count the COVID season. We still haven't made the playoffs since 2003. I don't count the COVID season. That's hogwash. I don't care about that. Like, I'm just glad that we're seeing actual meaningful games in September and probably going into late September.
So as far as Arizona, just the updates, Arizona's going to be playing. They're playing right now. They're playing Chicago. So they play the Cubs. That's an NL competition. They play the Mets. That's NL competition. They play the Cubs again at home. So right now they're playing at Chicago.
That can really
it could mess it up.
With them being 3 games above. That could shake things up between that.
Then they'll play
Arizona series,
San Francisco, and end the season with Houston. So that's the Arizona schedule. We'll see, man. Like I said, I don't have high hopes. Like maybe was a chance, but I feel like we're in the red zone. Like it's gonna be a miracle. Like they're gonna have to start swinging.
Damn, a miracle.
It's gonna be a miracle. I think the season's over, but we'll see. That's our MLB update. Hopefully JoJo's come here next week so we can talk more. He likes to talk about Yankees and other stuff. So I would love to talk more baseball and get into it. But there's tons of sports, man. We talk football, college football, MLB, soccer. I mean, it's going to be exciting as we go forward for the rest of the week. Julian, how do you feel about this week? Like, how do you feel going into the sports weekend? Like I said, we're week 1 football. The Colts.
Dude, I'm happy. Like I said, we're getting NFL's coming back. College is there, I guess. I think we're getting meaningful baseball games. MLS is killing it right now. European soccer just started up, so that's hype. the Champions League, the European Champions League's about to start up 2 weeks from now. So I'm pretty excited, man. I'm pretty pumped. I will say that. So
you're gonna record this
stuff to watch. Like I said,
are you gonna be recording this week for Real Fans FC? You have that in the plans? That in the works?
Last night.
All right, bet. See, that's coming out already. See,
going live today.
Going live today.
It would already be out.
All right. So you heard it here first. Real Fans FC. Check that podcast out. I know there's a lot of subscribers that they just want soccer stuff. So, you know what? Julian's our expert right here. But we'll be here next week talking more football, college football, baseball, anything sports, anything that's happening in the news. We appreciate y'all checking us out. Real Fans Podcast right here. YouTube. Subscribe. Check us out. Thank y'all for listening to us. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.